In 1945, after the Second World War, a group of soldiers are flying home after winning the war. As they approach the Bermuda Triangle, they see huge birds flying in their direction, as if they are running away from something. Some of the birds crash into the airplane, completely damaging it. This forces the soldiers to jump out of the plane and use their parachutes to rescue themselves. One of the soldiers lands safely, but he realizes that they are not alone, as he watches his friend being devoured by a massive crocodile that jumps out of the water. Now the soldier is stranded alone on a dangerous island. Many years later, a commercial airplane is also passing by the Bermuda Triangle, and the passengers are completely oblivious of the impending danger. We are introduced to Hao, a single father who's traveling with his teenage daughter Lin. Hao is very unhappy with the fact that his daughter has a new boyfriend, Chen. While the two are arguing, the entire plane begins to shake violently, causing panic in the plane. To make matters worse, the pilots realize that their equipment is failing, and they have no choice but to slowly bring down the airplane and try to land it on the nearby island. Before the aircraft reaches the bottom, people notice numerous gigantic birds flying their way, hitting the airplane and causing damage to the engines. The damage causes the airplane to drop into the ocean, and the pilots desperately try to maintain control, but the aircraft is ripped open violently. The people get sucked outside by the pressure difference, and Hao approaches his daughter, eventually managing to secure himself onto a nearby seat. The airplane crashes into the water and glides into the ocean. Suddenly, the pilots realize that they are heading towards rocks. The plane slams into rocks which break it into pieces, tossing the passengers and making them pass out. When Hao eventually regains consciousness, he rescues his daughter and brings her to the land, where they realize that only a handful of people have survived. Realizing that they are stranded on the island, the people begin to gather all the resources that they can find. Unfortunately, they realize that there's barely any drinkable water left, and all their phones appear to have no signal. Realizing that they are not going to last very long on the beach, Hao decides to venture into the forest, where he may find more resources for the people to survive. He goes into the jungle with his daughter's boyfriend Chen, and they're also joined by a professor. The three find a shed that's surrounded by trees. They find weapons inside the shed, and also find a notebook that appears to be written by a soldier from the Second World War. Luckily, the professor knows English, and he is able to read what's written in the notebook. The professor reads that the island is filled with giant monsters. The guys panic and head back to the beach immediately to warn their friends about the danger that they are in. On the beach, one of the survivors called Fang begins fighting a woman for the only bottle of water. Luckily, he's stopped by another person called Li, who punches Fang in the face. The two fight, reaching the water, and a flight attendant tries to stop them, while everyone else just watches without helping. Li's pregnant wife Jia sees this and tries to stop her husband, pulling him away from the fight. Suddenly, the people realize that something is coming their way, and the flight attendant is attacked by a crocodile from the ocean. Everyone sees this and begins running, and numerous crocodiles climb onto the beach and start attacking the humans who are too slow to escape. When Hao's group returns from the forest, they are shocked to see that everyone has left the area. They also see huge footprints belonging to the crocodiles. Hao believes that the survivors are still alive, so they start looking for them. Meanwhile, the people are still being pursued by the crocodiles, as they devour anyone who couldn't run fast enough. The survivors are eventually split into groups as they escape in different directions. Lin, his pregnant wife, and another girl are able to make it to a clearing. They find fresh water and decide to quench their thirst. Li begins hearing noises coming from the forest. Luckily, they realize that it's only his group. As they are celebrating being reunited, Hao begins noticing vibrations, and everyone freezes in fear as the noises get louder. What they don't realize is that a giant crocodile was hiding right behind the rocks this whole time, and the creature reveals itself. The crocodile approaches one of the men, and he wets his pants in fear. The group watches helplessly as the man is swallowed by the crocodile. They then run to save their lives. The crocodile follows them and jumps at Hao, but Hao manages to dodge the attack. The crocodile turns its attention to a woman who's stuck between the rocks and attacks her. They are able to escape from the crocodile, and Hao brings them to the shed he found earlier. He suggests that they should camp here for the night and tells Chen that they need to guard the area. The next morning, while everyone is still asleep, Hao decides to gather some fruits so that his daughter will have something to eat when she wakes up. Meanwhile, Fang was able to survive alongside a woman whose name is Liki, but Liki seems to care more about filming herself than surviving. Licky covers herself in a sticky liquid and demands that Fang help her clean it off. They don't know that the liquid is from the eggs of giant spiders. At the same time, Lin wakes up and goes outside to look for her father, and they notice that they are surrounded by giant insects inside a fog. They wake up the others quietly so that they can escape. They slowly walk out of the shed to evade the creatures. Suddenly, one of them discovers a sticky liquid on his head and is immediately killed by the giant insect. Everyone sees this and realizes that the other monsters are moving towards them. They run away as the creatures chase them closely behind. The commotion alerts Hao, causing him to rush back immediately after hearing the screams. The group continues running away from the giant spiders, but they are quickly stopped by the massive creature, which has now caught up to them. The spider begins stabbing the humans using its giant legs, but luckily, the professor distracts it, saving everyone. Now the giant spider is chasing the professor as he lures it away from the others. Unfortunately, more monsters are heading their way, forcing them to run deeper into the forest. They try to shake off the incoming enemies and eventually manage to lose the creatures by hiding inside the bushes, hoping that the spiders will give up and leave. To their surprise, they begin hearing footsteps heading their way and soon find out that it's Hao. Hao yells at the creatures, trying to lure them away. The spiders now chase him and the group escapes. Hao runs back to the shed where he finds the professor hiding there. They don't know that the monster is waiting to ambush them. The two try to wait it out until the coast is clear, but are attacked by the monster from above. The professor is gravely injured in the process, and he dies, leaving Hao all by himself with the giant creature attacking. The spider knocks Hao into the walls and tries dragging him back to finish the kill. Luckily, Hao breaks free and runs away, before tossing his grenade at the spider and blowing it into pieces. On the other side, the remaining survivors manage to escape and eventually run into a small river that they have to cross. Before they can make it to the other side, they are attacked by a crocodile. Chen tries to attack the animal, but slips and falls. The crocodile gets ready to kill him, but luckily, Hao appears and pushes him away, saving him. The crocodile has now shifted its focus on Hao, but Hao dodges the attack, and the crocodile drops into the water and leaves. Hao reunites with his daughter, and they embrace. He promises that everything will be okay, and swears to protect her. Next, the girl with the sticky liquid finds a source of fresh water. Together with Feng, they begin quenching their thirst, and later the girl starts washing herself. As she's cleaning up, she hears a splash from behind her and realizes that they are not alone inside the water. Before she can get out, Feng approaches her, asking to have an intimate moment in the water. The girl rejects him. Just when the two are about to get out, the girl feels something inside the water, and a crocodile grabs her. She holds on to Feng's leg, and Feng kicks her away, allowing the crocodile to devour her. On the other side, the survivors continue venturing across the forest, and to their surprise, they find a crashed airplane that likely belonged to the dead soldiers. They try to look for any working equipment that they can use, eventually finding a machine gun and a radio that's still functional. Lin takes the chance and calls for help, giving people some hope that they can be rescued. They decide to head towards the beach, but they run into another survivor who turns out to be Feng. Although they don't trust him, they have no choice but to let him tag along. Hao warns Feng to stay away from his daughter. The group eventually make it to a large river that they have to cross once again, but the pregnant woman is not able to swim in her condition. The team is forced to build a simple raft, and Hao volunteers to swim across the water so that he can pull her across the river. Hao makes it to the other side, and the group begins swimming across the water. Everything seems to be going according to plan, but Hao realizes that something is wrong when he sees a giant crocodile appear on the surface. The group panics as they swim desperately for their lives, while the massive creature follows them. Lin makes it across with her boyfriend, while Fang begins swimming the other way. The husband is still inside the water trying to push his wife Jia across the river. Seeing that they have no chance to escape, the husband pushes his wife away as he sacrifices himself. He gets eaten by the crocodile. Jia screams in tears while the crocodile turns around to attack the group once again. Hao begins shooting the machine gun at the creature and giving the others a chance to run, while the animal chases them closely behind. They are able to make it into a clearing, as Hao tries holding the monster back by using his gun, but is forced to jump away at the last moment. The crocodile continues chasing them as they split into groups, but Fang falls down and has a panic attack. Lin sees this and runs back to help Fang, but Fang throws the girl towards the crocodile, leaving her to die. The crocodile chases Lin from behind. Luckily, Hao is able to distract the creature just in time by shooting continuously at it, allowing his daughter to run away. The bullets hurt the monster by piercing its skin, but accidentally hits Fang as well. The crocodile sees an injured Fang and rushes towards him, but also manages to grab Lin using its tail. The crocodile approaches from behind, but Fang suddenly gets a heart attack from the shock, which causes him to fall on the ground. The crocodile reaches him and kills him. Hao follows the crocodile to rescue his daughter. It's soon nighttime. Hao is finally able to track the creature into a cave. The group rushes into the cave and finds the giant crocodile sleeping beside the rocks. Chen tells Jia to go back to the entrance, but before she can leave, she sees her husband's body and she starts crying. This endangers everyone's life, as it nearly wakes up the crocodile. Luckily, Jia calms down. Hao continues moving forward to look for his daughter, as they carefully avoid the massive animal, and the father eventually finds his daughter still alive. He tries to get his daughter out, but before they can leave, Chen notices that the creature has disappeared and realizes that it's right behind him. He freezes in fear, and Hao fires at the monster. Chen takes the chance and rushes towards Lin, carrying her away from the cave. The crocodile turns towards Hao as he rushes deeper into the cave, and the crocodile chases him. Hao tries turning into the corners and hides inside the smaller tunnels to lose the crocodile. Chen brings his girlfriend to the cave entrance, and he hands Lin over to Jia and decides to go back to help Hao. Now Hao is running out of places to hide, and the creature nearly kills him from behind. Hao runs for his life and jumps into a small entrance while shooting at the giant crocodile. However, the bullets are not very effective as he runs out of ammo. He also realizes that he dropped his grenade behind the creature. Chen eventually makes it back to help Hao, and Hao tells Chen to find the grenade. Chen rushes towards the rocks, looking for the grenade. Luckily, he finds it and runs towards the animal and throws an axe at the creature. This gets its attention, and Hao escapes as Chen is chased by the crocodile. Chen unpins the grenade and throws it at the crocodile. The bomb explodes, shaking the entire cave and hurting the crocodile. The crocodile finally dies. Hao is impressed with Chen and gives him his blessing to date his daughter. Just before the pair leaves, they are shocked to see that the crocodile is still alive. Hao grabs a knife and rolls down on the rocks. The crocodile follows him, and Hao slices it open from underneath. Now the crocodile is really dead. Chen rushes over and pulls out his friend from under the creature. Luckily, Hao survived, and the two leave the cave and reunite with the others. The survivors leave the dangerous forest and head to the beach. They get to the beach as the sun is rising, and numerous helicopters are seen heading towards them. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more videos. Goodbye.